My name is Ian and welcome to Planted. In this video I want to talk to you about selecting a landscape contractor. Now this is a huge subject, and in different parts of the country, in different parts of the world, different processes, different weather, different conditions. Here in the Northeast we get a lot of snow. Down in Alabama that's just not the case. So the contracting industry is going to be set up to match your climate. That's the first thing. So what works here won't work there and vice versa. Now, the first thing I want to talk to you about is the components that you need for a successful project. Now, we're talking about landscape contractors, so that would indicate the build side. But there's a design component, there's a build component, and then there's the maintenance or the ongoing care. These three subjects, no matter the size of your project, are relevant to everybody. Now, if you're a homeowner and you can do a little chicken scratch, come up with a fence, a lawn area, maybe a pathway and some carved out planting beds, that's the design. That design will help you decide on the quantities that you need and the area that you need to plant. Very, very important. And if you're a homeowner and you've got a little bit of practical nous, you can now build that garden and ultimately you'll take care of it. So that's at one end of the scale. The other end of the scale is where you pay a landscape designer or a landscape architect to come and give you a design, and you will have multiple contractors come and build it, specialist contractors, and then you'll have multiple contractors take care of it. It doesn't matter if you're the homeowner doing it all, or if you are a larger project wanting to hire out every aspect of it and you're going to do nothing yourself. These three steps are vital: design, install, and care. There's no way around it. Now, if there was one piece of advice that I give out to clients all the time, that is break your project into phases. And the reason I say that is that many people, whether it's a small job or a large job, I guess with a large job you're relying on professionals to make many of these decisions for you. But if you're a homeowner, you're going to build it yourself, or do the majority of it yourself. Breaking it into phases means that you can see phase one finished before you commit to phase two. Not a lot of people are able to see 5 phases all complete as they walk outside and start to try and understand what they're committing. And I think that if you can do it in phases, it costs less money, immediate money out of your pocket. You can see a phase finish before you commit to the next one. And you can also see how your contractor's doing. Do they arrive on time? Are they friendly? Are they polite? Do they do hard work? Do they do a full day's work? And the reason for the phases is that if you find a contractor for phase one and they are exceptional, have them come back. Have them come back and do some more. And vice versa. If you find a contractor is not being as productive as you would like them to be, they can finish that phase, you can pay them, and you don't have to have them come back again. Contractors are very, very good at trying to look at the efficiency of doing more work. They will explain to you that I can do phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, 4, and 5. I'll do all of it together and you'll save money. Practically that is possible, but realistically it means that the job can get a little bit amorphous. It can just ramble on. And if that contractor has bitten off more projects than they can chew, other projects somewhere else, then the chances of you having a crew that stays on your site day in, day out until it's finished are very slim. We get bad weather, they can't work in a mud pit, they get a delay on plant delivery. A whole range of issues will prevent them from filling your entirety of your job in one go. So this phase process is a tool for you to get one part completed, go outside, look at it, and then commit to the next phase. It really does work. It's very, very simple. And you could say, well, if a contractor comes out and does 2 weeks work and then they leave, and then I have them come back a month to do phase 2, I've got to pay for all of that toing and froing. There might be a small additional cost, but you are in control. It's your project. You don't want to get into a multi-phase project that you can't get out of because that contractor is so engrossed in other projects. So breaking it up is really, really important. Now, I've got to say this, that I think all landscape contractors are legitimately hardworking. There are a few out there that are a little bit of a rogue. They might not have your best interests at heart. But this hard-working nature of a landscape contractor is all based on when they get your job, what work they have already in the pipeline, what the weather is, and what future work they've got coming up. And they may be able to do a fantastic job for you in mid-March. You wait till mid-May and they're completely swamped. That same contractor will drop the ball and you'll be left hanging. So I think that the majority of landscape contractors can all do a good job most of the time. But that hard working isn't enough. In selecting your contractor, you've got to look them in the eye and start to have them realize that this is your home, this is your property, this is where you live. You want the project started, you want it finished. And it may be that you do it out of the season. If you wait until April and May here in New England to try and find a landscape contractor, they're all booked up. And it is hard work. So you're much better off in February starting to look around, or January or December, starting to look around, decide on your design, find your contractor and say, right, I want you to build this in late March. They don't have to plant it, but they could do all the construction. And then as the plant starts to become available later in the season, then you can come back and planting it. So that's number 3. Contractors are hardworking. Sometimes they bite off more than they can chew. Now, number 4 is think of the diversity of a landscape contractor. Think of the things that they can do that you may want them to do in your yard. Now, mowing and lawn care, leaf removal, snow management, mulching, fencing, hardscape irrigation. All of those skills contractors might do in varying degrees. You might be a hardscape company that's really, really good at grading and drainage, building stone pathways. That's it. So that would be a specialist, and then you get somebody else to come in and do the planting. If you have a company that does snow removal, leaf removal, and lawn mowing, that's more of a landscape care situation. They are probably not the people to put together for you a beautiful collection of plants. It's just not their skill set. But this is how landscape contractors grow. They start off small, they do a good job, they get focused on customer service, and then they get the requests for, could you do these planters? And could you do my mother's yard? And I need these perennials put over here. And they start to get a little bit out of their depth, but to the best of their ability, they'll try and help you. So that mix of skills that they have, I just said, the snow management, leaf removal, lawn mowing, hardscape irrigation and fencing, you can't expect one company to do it all. Depending on the size of your project, you're probably going to end up with a number of contractors. And ideally, you want these contractors to work together. You want them to have the ability to be on site probably at the same time and not get in each other's way. So in hiring a contractor or searching for a contractor, see if your company that does the hardscape knows of somebody that can put down lawn. You know that they work together. You will ultimately have a number of professionals, specialists coming in over a period of time doing different jobs. And you as the homeowner, you're going to have to manage that. Now, the last thing I want to say is that it's very easy to get excited by a design. Hardscape is fantastic. Grading and drainage is wonderful. You start to see your garden as it was become something different. And then you get a bill for the excavation contractor, and then the fencing bill comes in, and then there's 40 yards of topsoil comes in. It just keeps adding up. And I think that the part that is most often dropped, not necessarily just by the contractor, but also by the homeowner, is the planting. It's the last thing that happens, and you just want the project done. So contractors will run around and say, well, this plant list that you've got from this garden designer, I can get 40% of it, but the rest of it I just can't get. Bear in mind that the garden designer chose for you some specialist plants to make your garden pop. And then the landscape contractor comes along, can't get this, can't get this, can't get this, and they start suggesting substitutions. And those substitutions will be very affordable, and they'll be available, and they can put them in tomorrow. It's a hard discipline to look at a plant selection and try and keep it exciting, but it happens all the time. This is why if you have your garden built in March and April, and then you do the planting some of the planting in May, and then some the following fall, you get a much wider range of plant material to choose from, and you can keep it special. So those are the 5 points. The whole project is based on design, install, and construction. Design, install, and ongoing care. You've got to break your project up into phases. I do think landscape contractors are a hard-working bunch. Sometimes through their own enthusiasm, they get too much work and they can't fulfill it all. Our industry is incredibly diverse. Snow management, leaf removal, lawn mowing, mulching, hardscape, irrigation, it just goes on. And you're going to need to find a range of contractors that can overlap. And the last point, please, please, please stay focused on a wonderful plant mix. And if you're able to fast forward 2 years from now with a commitment to a fine plant mix, your garden can look startling and bright and colorful and tranquil all at the same time. So do bear that in mind. That's it. Those are the 5 points. Thank you so much. Bye for now.